This has been an excellent experience. I have conquered the problem. It's a good feeling. No more mistakes. It will change my way of life. It's really been a happy area really in my I'm getting ahead in my life really. Well, that's what I feel. I've tried.
Okay, Phil, I am going to interrupt you because I'm not going to torture you.
Наша программа в первую очередь основывается на том, чтобы сделать человека умнее, а значит и сильнее.
Okay, so the Ettalon program is to enable any person to become stronger, become smarter, and never need any advice from any speech therapist or anyone else. So the bottom line, you will become your own speech advisor, smart advisor. We have two programs. One for people who stutter. It's called Become Your Own Speech Therapist. And the other one is for people, speech professionals, that would learn how to teach, advise people with different speech difficulties.
Phil, you'll study the program I Am My Own Speech Therapist to learn everything you need to know, to assist only your speech and no one else's. In order to understand this program, you will have to begin training of your body the same way you do when you go to the gym.
Sure.
And you will train a certain part of your body. As in every training, you need to do like focus on precise part of your body in training. If a person plays soccer with his legs, listens with his ears, sees, looks with his eyes, then we speak with our tongue.
So we will guide you to develop the sensory awareness of your two organs. It's your hearing and your tongue muscles. In order to be able to write neatly, one would have to develop a sensory awareness of his hand. To play a good soccer, he would have to develop a sensory awareness of his leg. To speak well, each of us would have to develop a sensory awareness of our tongue.
You have to become a sensor of certain part of your body when you perform an action with this particular part of your body. So the same is true with speech. You have to develop the sensory awareness of your muscles, the speech muscles, tongue and the lip. What is the main problem of most people who stutter?
They attempt to speak not with their tongue.
Well,
This is where the tension of the muscles that are very far away from the tongue is coming from.
What people who stutter attempt to do, they attempt to use all kinds of muscles of the body. Some people use their eyebrows. Some people think that they need to move their nose, arms, hands, chest, neck, shoulders, but not the tongue.
Ну, в его случае это еще грудью пытается
And
говорить.
in your case, I just explained to him, in your case, you attempt to speak with your chest muscles, breathing muscles.
okay.
Также заикаешь.
Also, while normal speakers always send their voice out of their mouth to listeners, stutterers often attempt to speak on inhalation, sucking everything inside. Many stutterers can't even imagine that it is possible to simply begin speaking normally without moving some random muscles of their body.
So this is misconception. It's totally enough if you simply realize what particularly you do incorrectly and learn the correct actions, and you begin performing these correct actions, and your results will be perfect. It's the same as, for example, for 20 years you would be typing on the keyboard using your nose, and one day somebody told you, hey, look how you're supposed to do, you're supposed to use your finger.
When you attempt to speak using the muscles that are not intended for speaking by nature, you get yourself into a condition of useless tension, useless attempts to speak, and no matter how hard you try, you fail inevitably.
The problem is really that simple. So we can laugh about it, we can be sad about it, we can be angry about it, but this is the truth. Only when you perform something that is in fact impossible to perform, you tense your muscles, you put yourself in the situation when you kind of feel stupid, and this is the truth. Also, people who stutter usually spend a lot of time in thinking. When they're supposed to speak, they think how to do it. They go through their mental programs from one to another, selecting what am I supposed to do, how am I supposed to do, instead of simply doing it.
Sun coming through the window. Below the window is a light fawn striped wallpaper with a watermark effect which reaches a plain white skirting board which touches the light fawn carpet. Enough?
Did you run out of words?
I can carry on if you want me to.
Do you want to carry on?
Yeah, I'll do a little more. I think I might have run out.
Okay. How does it feel to speak with no mistakes?
Excellent.
Good job.
What is the day?
Yeah,
Third day.
that's right. Because people don't believe it.
Third day.
Okay.
I spoke a lot at home, which was pretty much 100%. And we had a meeting with our group. It was all fun and exciting, and there was a lot of hype, and it went very well. I said everything I wanted to say. I spoke to the family a lot, made as many conversations as I could. They all went perfect. They said they noticed a difference in my way of speaking. I made phone calls. They also went 100%. I focused on preparing each word, and it paid off. Well, it began, I don't remember the one night I went to sleep not being a stutterer, and then I woke up being it wasn't quite like that.
Yep.
But I remember school, my first day at school, 5-year-old. Obviously something went wrong. I can't remember what it was, but I guess it's a big point in your life when I must have made a few mistakes. Between then and when I was 12 years old, I don't recall much in the way of speech, but I began to learn a musical instrument at 12, or may have been 13, and the teacher was an old man, and I enjoyed the lessons, but he was very harsh. He sort of put a lot of pressure on me, and I used to be scared of him.
What were you doing during the musical class?
I was learning to play the saxophone.
Oh, so your mouth was kind of busy playing saxophone, okay.
And he used to, every mistake I made, he used to get awfully frustrated. And
did he allow you to speak during the class?
I didn't speak much, no.
This is the only...
mouth
Yep.
was full.
Right. So when you were during the class, you didn't speak. But when he was angry with you, did it encourage you to speak?
No.
So this is the only reason people stop speaking, children. They stop speaking, they stop developing their own speech.
I went to a speech therapist who trained or tried to train me to slow down. I came home with a little counter.
Counter, what is that?
Counter to count the speed of my
Like
syllables.
metronome?
It was a push button counter,
Oh my God. What a distraction.
and that I wasn't sold on that theory at all. Then I went through to when I was about 20 probably, without trying to live with the problem, ignore it as much as possible. I got back into doing standard things, socialising with friends, playing rugby. My friends and family got used to how I was, but I still didn't like meeting new people or speaking on the phone, so I kept within my circle of friends.
So when you said you didn't like to speak, does it mean that you prefer to be quiet, to be silent?
Especially around new people and at work.
So the point I'm making, you still were not developing your speech. Even at 20, you still had a speech skill of a child.
Correct. Then when I was 20, I went to another speech therapist, a 2-day course where they taught me about breathing and
Sorry.
not using words that were hard,
So substituting words, right?
substituting words, and starting with easy sound like so.
Oh, God.
I still wasn't sold on the theory or what they were teaching. I knew that inside me was actually they also taught me that it's a problem with your diaphragm or something, which is a bit wacky.
Where is your diaphragm and where is your tongue? What's the connection between them? Okay.
I honestly wasn't a believer in their program, but it gave me a little boost perhaps for a short space of time. They threw us out onto the street like you said earlier and told us to go and speak to anyone.
You know what, this is a crime. I know that speech therapists don't mean that. Deep inside we all are, I used to be a speech therapist myself, we all are very kind of big-hearted people. We all want genuinely to help stutterers, right? But sending people that have no idea how to speak, sending them out and make fools of themselves, it's criminal. Because other than creating a neurotic behavior in a person who stutters, it doesn't do anything else. How can you face, how can you fight fear if you don't know how to do it? It's just crazy and criminal. To me, this is criminal.
I agree. From there till now, I haven't been to any therapist or anybody. I know that I have the same tongue, lungs, heart. So I've always thought that there must be some way to reverse the habits I've formed. And when I found your website and read what you had on your website, watched some videos, I thought this is what I've been looking for since I was 16.
It wasn't available back then, when you were 16. I mean, in Russia it was, but not in English language.
So that's why I'm here. I think I know what I've learnt will make the difference if I make the difference. But I can see I am going to need to put time aside to practice on my own.
You have to grow your own speech skills. So right now you have the basics. You can speak without mistakes. Can you?
Yes.
That's it. But if you want to speak even better, if you want to increase the mastery of your speaking skill, what do you need to do?
Practice and practice.
What does it mean, practice?
Talk.
Talk. Speak, speak, speak. Now is the time to go out there. Now I'm sending you, yes, now you can go and speak with strangers and any situation you want. Take yourself everywhere. But now you can. You're not going to be a neurotic person. You're not going to become depressed or stressed. Okay?
Other programs I've been to are all in a group setting. You don't get the same individual attention like you do here. Even in the group in my last course, I could see each person had a different problem. It took time for a start to get my head around the concept, if you like. But once you learn the basics, it's as easy as this. If you have a speech problem, it's curable.
You tell me, is it curable or you can learn?
You can learn out of it.
Speech is not a medical condition, is it?
No, it wasn't. I didn't mean it like that. But if you have got a problem, don't live with it. It doesn't fix itself. There is a solution. So there's an option for you to live like everyone else if you put the time and dedication into it.
What do you think when people say, okay, 3 days, impossible? What do you say about that? Is it possible? Is it enough?
Yes, it's enough to learn. Definitely, it's possible. I can see that it'll take time to make it stick, practice, talk. But yes, it's possible to learn a correct way of speaking in 2 days.
Of course.